Okay, so this knife is kind of growing on me. Um, I mean, it's nothing really special. I don't think it's a real SOG, but if you can hear that squeaking, cracking, and scraping. So it's got a lot to be desired. But I'm gonna take and we're gonna pull it apart, kind of take a look at it. See this pivot screw continuously loosens up. So Loctite, I believe, will fix that problem. Um, and may fix that noise for all I know, to be honest with you. But we just want to take a look in here. Those are going to be itsy bitsy. I'm kind of wondering even if a T6 is small enough. Yeah, appears to be. And there is no Loctite on any of these screws. I mean, it's kind of a what and what type thing because when Kershaw is making knives in China, and China sells what you have to assume is a knockoff, then you have to wonder, kind of, is there any reality to what is it anything for real? I mean, is it possibly somewhat realistic? Oops. So the shaky deal is here. So pretty sure, yeah, the screws into the pocket clip that goes inside here, and of course is reversible because you have a cutout on both sides. So I'm kind of thinking, so this probably just pops off. Oh yeah, it's just kind of stuck on there. It's not anything special. Now these Omega springs are a little different from a lot of the other ones that I've seen, I think. I mean, I think that's too small to actually pop on to one of the other knives. Then again, maybe not. I don't know. So you do have what appears to be Teflon bearings. So the lockup seems fine, but of course you'll get a lot of side to side wiggle because the pivot screw is loosened up. I'll put some Loctite on there. But the problem with this knife is you'll see let me see if I can just do it like this. You drop it down, and of course this is trying to close, and now that is like perfectly done there. Let's see. But you can't never hit that spot. You pull it down to drop it and you're there, and you can feel it dragging right up in there. And it'll pretty much catch every time. And there appears to be no lubricant on these bearings at all. So the grittiness is basically it's just grinding away. There's a little bit of wet right there, so that's potentially some kind of lubricant. We're going to put some more of our homemade stuff here. And because I'm never going to pack this, I'm probably going to put a good amount because I want to try to break it in. Now, what I had thought about doing, and I may still do, which in my opinion will make this really, really smooth closing. all that walking and chewing bubble gum, you know, I can't do it. I can't walk and chew bubble gum. It's just not in my nature. Just can't do it. So put a lot of lubricant on there because I'm not going to carry it, so I ain't worried about it taking and getting dust and grit and grime collected up in there. But I want to kind of give it an opportunity to really break in, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to end up with a decent amount of lubricant on them bearings. Well, okay. There we go. So what my potentially may or may not do, because this kind of works as a detent too. And so I may take and if it continues to bind up because of this finger flipper, which is almost useless, you got to really bear down on it to flick it open. Your thumb studs are really the best way to open it, and it tends to hurt your finger a lot the way this is designed. Again, I don't think this is a real SOG. If it was, I think it would probably work better, and hopefully I may be able to grab one day to be able to see how much better a real one is than this fake one. But until then, this is what I got. But trimming this off, like I said, with the flipper stud is useless, so I wouldn't mind doing without it. I wouldn't have an issue going without the flipper stud, and I think that'll smooth it out and make it flipperty flip a whole lot better. Now we're gonna see. Okay, so maybe that'll hold that in place. Now we'll put the finger flippy floppy on there and put this in place. So these right here really run the potential to, well, hold on, you know what? We're gonna need a spring. That burn it. And we're gonna need that on there. That burn it. Now we can put all this back on there. Hopefully that little bit of lubricant might do something. Kind of hoping. I'm gonna start by getting this pawl kit clip back in there. And of course, you know, nothing having Loctite on it, you know, all this stuff was loosening up. And that's part of it. I'm not going to put Loctite on these screws. I kind of figured that I'm going to end up being in here again to trim that thumb stud off like I had talked about. Um, and because my intent with all these um, fake knives, and I got a whole bunch more coming in, but with all these fake knives, my intent is to try to make them better. You know, just mess around with them and see if I can add stuff to them and make them even better. Now, I was kind of talking earlier about how I was wondering if this may or may not be a real SOG, possibly because it come from China, and for all I know, this SOG may be made in China. It's supposed to be the Terminus XR limited series Cryo D2. So, but I doubt it because the price I paid for it was, I don't know, like $8. But again, it was another one of those knives that was not branded in the ad. It just looked like a a spine lock knife, nothing special. And so that was that's what I thought it was, and I just wanted to experiment with cheap spine locks, um, Duralocks or Axis locks, whatever they want to call them. As far as I'm concerned, they're all the same thing. They kind of work the same for the most part. They're not the same, I understand. So before you get mad, get glad. But basically, they're the same type of lockup, and I just wanted to experiment and see what was what. See, it's still not any better. You gotta really come down on it. And see, it's locked up right there. And I can get past it, and it's just fine. And also in that little loop, I was thinking about maybe filing it down because I really don't think it's D2. I don't think it's really any kind of really good metal, in all honesty. So I don't feel like it's gonna be hard to file with a really good Nicholson file. So I just wanted to throw that in there, kind of take a look at this on the inside. And if anybody's got a real SOG limited edition Cryo D2 Terminus XR, see if any of what you just saw inside this compares to it. And so that's all for now for this one right here. I'm going to let that Loctite set up, see if I can break it in and see if I can get it to open and closing better. I'd like to leave the finger flipper on there to potentially get it working. And if I do, I'll do another video on this just to show. Yeah, I realize it's a cheap knife. It's no big deal. It's a fake. It's a whatever. And why bother? But I mean, I've said it before. I like to take things that are one thing and make them better. And so that's my intent here. So we got some other stuff. Let's get into it. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.